Welcome to the United Unbiased show, and tonight we're going to be talking about schoolboy football.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
What is your name, please?
Kemal Alfred.
Which position you play?
Left wing back.
Yeah?
Yes,
You have been attending Edwin Allen from 7th grade?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and obviously you're a footballer in the school.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Talking to some of the other players, I realize, they are taking their time to understand the coach's philosophy. How do you feel about it?
Well, it's very detailed and easy for me to understand, so it's better, and I will develop a lot more.
Yeah? How do you feel entering the next season if the pandemic permits it?
We're very confident and we're expecting great results.
Okay, thank you, Kimo, and I wish you all the best.
Yes, sir.
My name is Sanjay Maduro. My position is centre back.
Sanjay Maduro, how you doing, man? Good afternoon. Tell me something. I know this pandemic has disappointed a lot of you, and this season, and have made the schoolboy football cancel for the 2020. But how do you feel though, entering the next season if the pandemic permits it?
But I'm very confident in our team, especially because all of the players are developing their skills. And our coach have been there just from beginning. And all of the signs have been detailed.
Okay, good. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
What is your name?
Japan McLellan.
Which position you play?
Wing forward.
Wing forward, good. Wow. Sound like a fast player.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Tell me something though. This is without this pandemic, this would have been your first season?
Yes, this is my first season, and I'm hoping to make the team.
Okay. You're a fairly new player in the squad, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you're a new recruit. Coming from which school?
Spot Valley High School.
Okay. Nice meeting you, Javon, and I wish you all the best, all right?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
What is your name?
Edwin, Brian.
Which position you play?
Left back or striker.
Okay,
Centre
wow.
forward.
Left back and striker, double position. Yeah, man, you must be an important player in this team.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man. Let me ask you something though. How do you feel entering the 2021 season?
Well, at first I played the cup, so at the same result, I'm still positive to go in and do my best and play from team and school and the whole coaching staff. So I still feel great.
Okay, all right, thank you. And go. Good speed. Jog back. Give me a sprint. All right. As a turn, you go again. Go. Nice. Next. Not bad. Jog, come back. Go. All you have to do is just go to the boat. Just go to the boat, and tell him one.
All right, good. Mr. Burton, you just mentioned Coach Reynolds and Coach Jackson and the players, but you know what I remember you mentioned something about Rene, and correct me if I'm wrong, right? But if I'm not mistaken, I think that Rene mentioned something, that is Coach Rene Simeones mentioned something about the quality players he saw in Jamaica when he got here at the youth level, and how he compared those players with the Brazilians, right? So probably at age 9, age 10, in terms of quality players, you could find them on similar level at those in those countries. But as you get older, the quality drip apart. And obviously the Brazilians get better while the Jamaicans are still struggling. So that to me is a real problem. That to me is a real problem. And if we're starting from a similar platform, from a similar level, why such huge growth for the Brazilian and our Jamaican players are still, I don't want to say stuck at a certain level, but they are still not on the level of a Ronaldinho, of a Ronaldo, of a Rivaldo.
I'll go back to the word again, culture. Brazil has their own culture, and they invest in that culture where the sport is concerned. We are Jamaicans. Think about it. Does Jamaica have a football culture right now? I'll answer.
You see, if I may butt in, the culture that Coach Burton speaks about, it's really and Mr. Whittick mentioned it earlier. The word practice, consistent practice. So the whole issue about the Brazil thing, I can say something as it relates to that. I had the privilege about maybe over a decade ago. I went to Brazil at what was the academy, Traffic Academy, and I can tell you there were about 100 and odd players there from age 13 to 18. We can match. I could find players in Jamaica that could match those players within the age range of 13 to 15 easily. The thing that they have over us at the age 8 to age 13 is the passion, because them youth there, I mean, they were introduced to the football at an earlier age, and so the development of the passion and the love for it is there more than, say, at Jamaica. But in terms of skill level, we can match them between age 10 and 13. As it reaches 14, 15, as it reaches 15, it gets a little bit more, the gap gets a little bit more wider in the favor of Brazil. Reason being, at 15, 16, they are put into a system where they eat, sleep, and drink football. And they do the school development work same way. So the whole issue of the culture, that's a culture. You put them into a system and practice, and the other side, you try to develop their educational self. You understand? So that's there goes the answer.
All right, because I was wondering the same thing. I was thinking about a player like Raheem Sterling, and I'm not certain. I cannot guarantee to say
he was in Jamaica if that would happen to you.
Yeah, because I do believe that probably in Raheem Sterling's age group at the time, he was not the best player. Because I don't know what age he left Jamaica to go overseas to play, but I am certain that Raheem Sterling's name was not going around in the circles.
I think he left somewhere between near 10, 8, 9, 10. Something.
Okay. Right.
And I bet you any money that when Raheem Sterling was here, he probably had friends that were even better than him.
Exactly, that my sentiment exactly. I do believe that's the case. And listen, for me personally, I would love to see some of those names you mentioned, Coach Burton, some of those names you mentioned. Some of the players that Coach Reynolds have when he won those schoolboy trophies. I would love to look at my TV and I see players coming from Jamaica, coming from our schoolboy system, all right? We'll transition to those EPLs and La Ligas. And not only playing there, I mean, to be one of the big name players. So when you look to give me a name again, Mr. Burton. Could I have a name again?
Omario Ferran.
Like a Omario Ferran or just a second name.
A Jaime Harris.
Or a Jaime Harris, you name it. All right. So you have you have when you listen for a Omar Ferran or a Jai Morris playing in the La Liga, playing in the Bundesliga, playing in the Premiership, and they are one of the top players, they are feared. That is where I would love to see the football in Jamaica. But the challenges, man, the challenges. Go ahead for me, Mr. Whittick.
You know, this discussion is very, very interesting, you know, and I tell you the truth, if we don't be careful, we continue up to our midnight tonight. But I want to say this, though, you know.
Quality guest, man, quality guest,
yes.
knowledgeable.
And I want to say this part of it, because listening to both coaches, and I tell you how much respect I had for both. You know, Coach Vassell, my big coach, and Tafari.
Teammate.
I tell you. By the way, I don't want to say it, but Tafari should have given me some more the credential about this, not just talking about administrative aspect of my work, but you know, when he first
the program is still on. The program
you know,
is still
but
on.
let us leave it right there. But the thing is, who will create the opportunity for these youngsters to find themselves overseas? Who are we expecting to do that? Because one, don't be mindful, as skillful as any one of these boys are, talented that these names that Burton called. If these guys have not made it to the national team, that boy or those students will only have 3% of make it to any one of those big clubs. Why? There's a relationship between international football and international club football. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't make, and put it this way, it is also in the reverse, where I realize that some players can't represent their country unless they are getting playing time from their clubs. And so for your country, the clubs will not see you as a potential big ball or useful name. So that relationship thing has to deal with, and so the JFF now will have to contribute or give these players, give us the opportunity or opportunities.
Coach Vassell.
Unmute your mic, Coach Vassell.
Yeah, and that's why you need a national consensus and academic kind of structure. And so, because look here now, if outside of the clubs, once you're in a national academy that is well structured, then overseas clubs can look directly to that national academy. You understand? So it's a case of having a well-structured academy at the national level and intertwine with your clubs, as Mr. Whittick mentioned, clubs, the club football and international football. There's a close relationship, but again, it boils down back to whether or not Jamaica can develop a proper structure as it relates to an academy. And you see, the thing about it, you know, my view of academy, you know, is not a building where some man comes stay. You know. I mean, if we are going to wait until we have look, just after about 5-8 years of trying, we just open a building where we can have some youngsters stay and train. Now, in the meantime, you know what we could have done? We could have said, all right, we're going to develop 3 segments. 1 camp in the east, 1 central, 1 west. You identify a Rossies High School in the west, and the boys go there from age 12 to 15 and camp every weekend. JFF support the venture. 1 camp in, so you have 60 youth camp in the west, 60 youth camp in the every weekend in central and in the east. And then from that, you can select your best 30 players at under 50. So this thing of waiting and having buildings, you don't have any buildings and this. A national academy is not about building. It's about having the youngsters together in a structured way and have them practicing several hours per week. It's as simple as that.
So, Mr. Reynolds, so I can assume, I'm presuming right now, that one of the biggest problem we have at this level is just the whole lack of vision then. It's just a lack of...
Yes, yeah. Well, yes, that's true. But in fairness to a lot of football stakeholders in Jamaica, they will give their opinion and give similar views like I gave just now. But and both gentlemen that are on the show tonight can tell you. You see this, you see this talk and no action. I can't bother with that. But what is the system in which the JFF is embedded in? I mean, you see, there can't be a quick fix to football, you know. So the thing about, hey, JFF new administration, we have to go World Cup this next year. Hey, we have to win them. No, so the quick fix mentality, so the vision of a quick fix thing, no, it have to be what will happen to our football 10, 15 years down the road. And if how you look at it that way, then you have to go put in the grassroots and put in the developmental program.
Yeah, the culture again. So you see where the whole concept of culture coming around again. Yeah, the concept of culture coming around again, because even though we have the ideas, but the culture itself is not as such that it is so imprinted on our brains. The passion that you spoke about, Mr. Reynolds, the passion that these players have at that age. So it's the stakeholders in the football, we are not so passionate about it that we will go out and do exactly what needs to be done to get it sorted. That is my understanding from this. I don't know, Mr. Whittick, you are an administrator, right? And these things, they take a lot of money. They take a lot of money. I understand that. So how do you think, do you have any ideas of how we could actually kickstart a program like this? Initiate, because we must start somewhere. We can't continue saying this for the next 20 years, that, hey, guess what, we don't have a culture or whatever. We need to start somewhere. And as such, I'm wondering, do you have any ideas as how we can actually kickstart this program moving forward? So the names Mr. Burton mentioned earlier, we can actually see something going forward to get
all right. One of the best way out we have to look at is partnership. Who do we partner with? As it relates to the JFF, you know, the mandate will have to be changed. And the proposal that I'll make now, unfortunately, those names that Taffy Burton mentioned will not get a chance to live in that aspect of it, because it is not now. We have to look further than the short fix. And so I will say this as a part, and I know Coach Vassell Reynolds will take it with great pleasure. You see what the JFF need to do now? First, they have to seek the sponsorship to build some mini stadiums. And when I say mini stadiums, I'm not talking about seats and so on. I'm just talking about some football field in Jamaica. Almost every community in Jamaica have a space for a football field. What we need to do is to develop that space. And every youngster who loves football will get an opportunity to play, or if you want to call it in Jamaican terms, to ramp on a decent football field. Our real country, as Renee said, you know, our real philosophy, or should I say, our best bet in football is skimmage. Skimmage football, Jamaican love it.
Yeah,
right? And even though,
man, come on.
Oh my God, even though if you want to take us through to skimmage, if you should open a skimmage competition in the Caribbean, or in CONCACAF, no sign.
I don't think anybody could beat Jamaica.
No. So look at those trends. Look at these trends coming from skimmage, the techniques. Can we have it? But you don't get the opportunity to showcase. So every minute have a little field. I will boil it down to a bigger one. At least every parish in this country need a stadium. It doesn't have to be one like the National Stadium.
Somewhere you can go and you play. You express
Exactly.
yourself.
Someone that the gate doesn't lock if you are not part of that club. And so it brings that about, and I know Vassell is looking forward for a space like that for himself. And if we can get that, the partnership now, we have to look at government, yes, for one, and other NGOs. You see, a lot of different companies or institutions, organizations in Jamaica love football. You know? And if you should dig up, and let me not use the term dig up, but if we should look back at Captain Morrell's vision when he started way back in 1993, how he get corporate Jamaica on board.
Yeah,
right? And we have those companies. We have construction companies that can do very fields right now in Jamaica. So we have to partner, get into those persons who are willing to put their little much and stop looking at the big picture. As Mr. Reynolds said, every JFF president come, the first thing them say, we're going to the next World Cup. How could you go into the next World Cup and you take up the ageable players to start out with? Eh? So we need a development thing, and we need to get, listen, as a school administrator, the government, the Ministry of Education, I can say this without any apology. For budget, the Ministry of Education merely give each school 10% of their budget to spend on sports, not football. So where the schools get the additional funding from? They have to seek sponsorship. And when you look at so many schools getting some sponsorship that could even run the JFF, and Vassell don't want to talk about it because he's afraid of the politics, but it is true. That's where we need to go.
So we have a lot of politics in football now, Mr. Whittick.
What?
It has always been in it.
You see,
it has
my
always been in
experience is
it.
a bit different. My experience is not as a coach per se. My experience is merely as a footballer. So I understand the footballing side to it. No, you guys are coaches, so you have to be a part of the whole administrative part, which I'm not all that privy to. So you
Let
guys.
me tell you something. For me personally, anything that the public is involved so much in, politics will be in it. You understand? And you know, we can criticize, we can do whatever, we can state things now, right? But you know, one thing we can't tell when things will be better, when things will fix. We can state ideas that we have, what we think could be better. But think about it. How long now have we been given ideas? Have we been stating things that can do or use to make things better? And things haven't changed for the longest while, you know, but we just have to do what we have to do. We still have to state our ideas, new ideas and fresh ideas. And, you know, Mr. Whittick mentioned, you know, a key word, and, you know, he doesn't know that, you know, part of my coaching at Edwin Allen is based off him. You know, he won't know until now, right? And I use him as an example.
As a former captain?
Let me say, please. Can I say, please? Right? You know, I use him as an example last year, summer. I never forget, it was before the tournament that I had invited Mr. Reynolds. You know, we had a meeting, and I brought up, you know, my former captain in the Costa Cup, Mr. Kevin Whittick, you know. Yeah, man, and Mr. Vassell was the coach as well. And I look at that time too, you know, when how academical he was, you know, and it proves, he proves it as well. Now he's a principal, right? And at that time, I myself got prefect at the high school as well, you know, and which I didn't expect.
Let me intervene just a minute, because I remember you, Mr. Burton, being a prefect, but Mr. Whittick, he was my farm prefect.
Okay. And,
I must say to you,
and that's what I'm talking about. So because I'm leading to something.
And I'm saying to you on record.
Yes, sir.
On record, I was the first prefect who was at the Doncaster Cup level at Edwin Allen.
Yeah,
So
congratulations,
I think
man.
I think I was
Trailblazer.
I think I was about the third or fourth. Yeah, man. Right, because this is what I'm leading to though. This is what I'm leading to though. Which I think is most important. You know, which I think Mr. Kevin Whittick will appreciate a lot. I use him as an example at that time to let the boys know that, hey, you know, you're very talented, right, in the sport of football. But how talented are we depends on our attitude and our discipline. And it will not only show in football, it will show outside of football too. You understand? And I use us as an example, you know, telling them how much, you know, we were a prefect, and I used Mr. Kevin with his name as being a principal now. And, you know, when I said that, everybody eyes open wide, because right then and there, they realized that, you know, yes, man, right then and there, the boys realized that, you know, what I'm saying, you know, it must be true. And would you believe it? This September, history set in Edwin Allen High School, where it's the first 5 footballers have gotten prefect one time. Yeah, man.
Congrats, man.
5 footballers, and I'll tell you, Mr. Whittick, you're the base of that because your name was used. Yeah, just to add a little to what you know, my former captain said about sponsorship. You know, that is most important, and that is one of the things I have been trying to get, you know, at Edwin Allen, and you know, things have been put in place, you know, and right now as we speak, you know, we have formed a past student group who even Mr. Kevin Whittick is a part of as well, you know, and they're willing to give the support to the football program, which they have even started already, you know. They've even started already, and I must say thumbs up for what you said, Mr. Whittick, because sponsorship is always good. You understand? Always good for football programs, you know, for sports and all. But since we're talking football, you know, and right now, you know, the Past Student Association, it's registered as PBA, you know, it's registered as PBA, and it's fully registered now, you know, so it's always good. It's always good. That's something you can't do without, and it will always, you know, assist your program to be better, And I think coaches feel better when they have things like this behind them, you know. Yeah, man, pushing the program, you know. So I just wanted to add to it a little.
Can say thank you to Piva. I like the past students thing. It's
yeah, man.
I like it.
I just want to use this medium, so I hope you don't charge me, Marcus. I hope you don't charge me, but
Definitely, sir. But as we say, we are all passionate here about the sport, so go right ahead, sir.
And for those past Edwin Allen, past student of Edwin Allen, let me put it that way. Whether you're a baller, you're a netballer, cricketer, whatever, I want you to log into the PIBA Foundation or PIBA organization. If you need more information, man, Tafari is one of these persons on the ground that you can link at any time.
Anytime.
You know, and so you see, my belief and what I still have Edwin Allen, you know, I wonder if Vassell really remember how much what Edwin Allen has done for him as a coach. I can't talk about what he has done for me as a player and as a student. And I'm saying this, I don't think it is difficult for this Edwin Allen football team to get some serious sponsor going forward. So I'm using this medium and this United Unbiased show.
Yes, definitely. So
give a helping hand to PIBA. Thank you.
Most definitely. I'm not going to take the last target. I'm going to say something that I remember. I remember one thing in high school. I don't know if Mr. Reynolds will remember this. Dismiss Jefferson. Dismiss Jefferson. I don't know if you remember that, but I remember. In high school, we had this competition going on between two classes, all right? Jefferson was a player, but Jefferson was not one of the best players. So Jefferson
was no player, man.
Mr. Reynolds had some quality. And he was
a player.
every time.
Here's a Miss Jefferson.
Every time Jefferson come across, Mr. Reynolds, him the stand would be shouting, "Dismiss Jefferson, dismiss Jefferson." you can ask Shangol, Mr. McPherson about it, man. Those are some of the greatest days. Some of the best memories, honestly, Mr. Reynolds, man. Mr. Reynolds.
You see, the Edwin Allen thing, boy, trust me, I don't know if we'll find another place like Edwin Allen. You have created the foundation and the platform, and I use this opportunity to tell this program, to tell people who will be listening this program of the impact that a coach, Courtney Jackson would have had on me back then, because he was my first mentor when it comes to coaching. And I will say this: when Reynolds came here and introduced the quote-unquote 5-3-2 system, or 3-5-2 as we call it now, even to this day, people felt that Reynolds was the first person to introduce that system in Jamaica. They are wrong.
In 1990.
Courtney Jackson was the, what I call now, I wouldn't say the originator, but he was the first person that exposes that system. Yeah, he was the first person I know of that exposed, because you may find other people that say that come up with somebody else, but he was the first person that I know of, that introduced that system in Jamaica. But I wouldn't say finally, but part of my general comments though, gentlemen, is that, you see, what we have to do now based on how the football is operating in Jamaica, we have to always remember that we're in a third world country. I mean, we can only find money for the team. We can't host a practice game in Jamaica. Forget about the pandemic. We can't host a game in Jamaica. You know, so how is it that as a third world country, if we're going to play one team, Costa Rica, if we're going to play Costa Rica, we have to, I mean, move on and try shuffle on to try funds. If we're to invite a team to Jamaica to play a game, we have a problem. So how is it that a country like that, I mean, we're going to jump up every year and say we must go a World Cup. We are going to World Cup. It's not like that. I mean, it's not a given that every time Jamaica sets its foot on a football field, we're supposed to win a game or qualify for a competition. I mean, who is Jamaica to be saying that? I mean, we have only qualified for one senior World Cup and an under 20 and an under 17 twice. But the thing about it, though, how we need to operate in Jamaica from a coach's point of view is to try and develop the environment of which you can control. Like Coach Burton is doing his little thing and developing his own little culture at Edwin Allen. I am doing the same thing at Manchester High School. And that is part and parcel of the reason why right now I'm working on a project. Because I'm trying to put together an academy very soon. So I'm working on that project. This is how we have to operate as a coach now. How can you contribute in your own little space? Because if we are to sit down based on how Jamaica football is going now, trust me, 10 years time, if you do this program, Mr. Whittick, 10 years time, and the same thing will come on program comes. I can almost certain of that. So it is always said, try and control your own environment and don't worry over the environment to which you can't control. Right now, we can only speak, but at the JFF level, we have no control. So what we need to do now is just focus on how well you can control your own environment and try and contribute to the development of football in your own local space. And that is the reason why I'm working on this academic project as we speak.
So,
Great, great.
I must say congratulations on that. We honestly we need that. We need that.
Yeah, man. I owe, trust me, I owe a lot to Edwin and both gentlemen, Coach Burton and and Saudie. They can tell you that, you know, I'm always with Coach Burton there. As a matter of fact, let me say this categorically on this program, that when I first signed the contract to go to Manchester High School, the first person I thought of bringing there to be my assistant was Coach Burton. You can tell you that.
That's true. That is true.
So, yeah, and so we were, because for one, because and I did it for two reasons. One, I realized that he has a passion for it, and the sky is the limit for him, and I know that because he knows me and I know him, and then we will make a good synergy. He knows what I stand for, I know what he stands for, and then we could work together and build something in that environment.
True.
But when he told me about, you know, the offer at his alma mater, I figured that, all right, he could go into that environment and try to do his thing, and I could go into my different environment and try it, and together. So anytime he can call upon me. So anytime he can call upon me, and he knows that, and we chat football on a fairly regular basis when he has the time, because sometimes he's busy, you know, he's busy. I want to that is my contribution. And any tournament, I mean, any camping, any information in terms of to the coach, always, and that is my payback. And any program they put in place, my contribution, you know, directly or indirectly, will always be there. I will end my little comment. I will end my little comment to say this, and I will go back to the first question you asked, Mr. Whittick, about back then and now. You know what? In retrospect, you know, what is easier now to coach for me is the fact that, trust me, I would have learned so much over the years that I didn't know back then when I was coaching these two gentlemen. And so that may contribute to passing on the knowledge a little bit easier. And now I am more exposed, I have more experience, and so that in itself makes it a little bit easier to coach now. So listen, man, the knowledge that I have about coaching now, if I have a Whittick and a Burton and them sort and a Smalling and a James and all them player back then.
Man, come on,
man.
Coach Reynolds. What you doing, man? What you doing? What you doing? Listen,
they would have to beg us to stop win championship.
Yes, man. Yes,
listen, man.
Yes,
you mentioned a James, you mentioned a Bert, you mentioned.
Yes, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Trust me,
mention a Smalling, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
Smalling. Oh
yeah,
my gosh,
yeah, man. So so in a sense, in terms of my knowledge of the game, it has expanded so much that it makes it a little bit easier for me to impart it. You know, but just that I don't. Yes. But it's just that when it comes to the players, the level of commitment and passion and skill level, in my mind, is not as high as back then. You know.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Reynolds. Anything, Mr. Whittick, any last words you want to say?
I'm not sure this is the last word, you know. Maybe I'm gonna open up. I want to learn something. Coach Vassell, when you coach at Edwin, you brought this 92 team to the semi-finals, the Costa Cup semi-finals.
Yes.
And I'm sure you had a marvelous squad that year.
Yes, ma'am.
You actually made that squad. Now, do you really believe that that techniques or those skills and coaching knowledge that you have then, could it work now?
It would be difficult because, as I said, it would be difficult because the main challenge I would have now is that those players then, apart from the skill level, apart from the skill level, then the commitment of those players it was difficult. It could work now more than ever. The mental aspect is a big thing. I mean, we didn't have to do much in terms of motivating those players to go and play with that team. Trust me on that one. I think we lost 2-0 at Woodside against Glenmuir. In that game, yes. And one guy, the Cheddar singer, one guy where coach used his head at me in that game, and I'll never forget, because I had planned for him to plan for Cheddar playing striker, and I think he put him back in the midfield. Yeah, play
right.
deeper.
Actually play D-League.
Yeah, man, play deeper and earthly, and I mean, yeah. So I remember it. Listen.
We had our chances.
Yeah, man. So yes, and then now the other thing is that for me, one of the difference too is the approach we took then in terms of training physically. For me, I tell people, and I tell Coach Jackson every year, there is more scientific and more quote unquote different frallies and ways now of training, the fitness and whatever. But listen, the fittest teams I have seen from I am coaching are Edwin and squads. 2 years when I coach, and there was a year in particular when Jackson had the team with Messerman on the left back and Ray Wright and the other wing back.
1990.
Listen to me. And guess what? The physical training regime was every morning, man go endurance running, go Green River Bridge and come back, and then go up and then go up down up on the step there and do with strength work. And then we go down I think down on the hill, down the road and run up
and drill.
The hill and drill. And listen to me. No, it's more scientific, and I am telling you, those were the fittest days. For me now, I focus on 4 things now in my preparation. Selection of players. I am more leaning towards commitment and attitude, not skill. We put commitment and passion and discipline before skill now in selecting my players from an early age. Trust me. The mental capacity. I spend a whole heap of things when it comes to that. Your physical preparation. Remember, trust me. And I told Coach Jackson recently that I will be going back to what we did then and tweet it with what is happening now. So and then as I posted in the thing to Mr. Whittick earlier, there are 2 aspects to the whole preparation now. You see, the planning and your organization. Trust me. I believe in scouting teams when they're going to play. I want to give this as an example on this program. You know that in 2017, when Rossi's High School won the Dakar Cup under my tutelage, very few people gave the Rossi's team a chance in that finals against what I consider as the best Clarendon College team over the past 5 seasons, right? But even before that, we were up against Stets 2 weeks before that. It was a dominant Stets team. You know what I did? I know that technically we were not as good as those teams. And I gave up the fact that, I accept the fact that we are going to have the ball less than those 2 teams. They are going to have the ball more than us. So it will be what we do or discipline we are when they have it, and what we do efficiently when we get the ball. So you know what I did? I took the team leading up to the Sets game. I took the team to MoBay United to camp for the week. And I played 2 games against MoBay United, which was a far superior team in a Premier League team. And I know that they would give us the ability to keep our shape, to maintain our composure when we don't have the ball, because I know that they're going to have the ball for more than me. And trust me, so prepared, so happening in the semi-finals. In the finals, same thing, preparation, same kind of preparation. Because Klein and Klein team technically, at one stage, during the game, Clarendon College must have taken maybe about 15 passes. And one of my player came to the sideline and said, Coach, it's as if he was saying to me, Coach, about 14 man, the man have on the field.
What are we supposed to be doing?
Yes, man.
To do?
Yeah, man. So I said, listen, the score is nil, man. At that time, when he said it to me, I said, the score is just 1-0. We are in the game. Don't worry yourself. Once it's nil or 1-0, we are in the game. Just keep the discipline and focus on the plan. And remember the fact that we did say them are going to have the ball for longer period that way. So it shouldn't be anything strange. So you see, planning an organization, I have grown to realize that that along with making sure your players play for you, making sure that they are fit, and making sure that mentally they are there. That is to me is the hallmark of the preparation of it.
All right, Mr. Burton. Mr. Burton, are you hearing, sir?
Yeah, man. Well said. Thanks, Coach Reynolds. Thanks for those information like a Sunday dinner.
Yeah, man. Coach Burton know that I don't hide anything from him. I wish I'm pray one day. I wish I'm pray one day when both of us playing in the Dakar Cup finals against each other.
Of course. And I don't want you to hide anything from me at that time too. But,
no sharing on that day, sir. No sharing the day before.
Hey, I don't think they'll have a stadium to hold the crowd,
Yeah, man. You would have to have a charter flight for overseas with Edwin and crew.
Yes, and well said though, well said, and I like that strategy that you use to win it, and I know I've congratulated you already. Congrats again, because no matter how we enter the Costa Cup, only one school can win. Only one school can win.
And I will give you this advice, Coach Burton, on this program.
Yes.
If you spend one season trying to develop an environment, make sure that you leave a mark.
Yes.
It matters how many. What I try to do, anywhere I go to coach, I try to leave a mark, and anywhere I coach, I give myself a chance.
Exactly.
So, what do you mean a chance? To win?
Yeah. Well, if the whole aim is to win, of course. Yeah.
Be careful, Coach Vassell.
Yeah.
Well,
man.
I must say, Sir Host and Taffy, I don't know. I know because these two men are actively coaching our Burton and Vassell. They spoke a lot. They continue their conversation. But for the past 20 or so years, once it comes around to the football season, Coach Reynolds and I talking left, right, and center. As a matter of fact, I have played very important roles in all his programs from then, But I'm not gonna get into it thus far.
So you're an active assistant.
No. I don't assist at all. And so, Coach Taffy, never mind. I am here, sir. And
yes.
I said before,
yes.
I have.
Yes, I know we have had our conversation.
And so
yeah, man.
I always do my little piece, and when anything that I can offer, I will.
Of course. And
Mr. Host, anytime again, just let me know, man. These are the things I because I like. I mean, I always lend myself to learn when I'm in discussion with people. In no matter whether you win a title or whatever, I always lend myself to learn. So Mr. Host, anytime again, feel free, man.
All right, gentlemen.
Well, to be honest with you, Mr. Host, Mr. Whittick, right? Thanks a lot for inviting me. When I got the invitation and realized who would be on the platform, I was very excited to be a part of it. And thanks for having me. I've learned. I know I've said a lot, right? And you touched something that that I love. As a matter of fact, that we love. So, you know, the conversation had to be good, you know, and as Coach Vassell said, call on me anytime, you know. We'll always be willing and make it convenient.
Okay. All right, so gentlemen, Mr. Whittick, Mr. Burton, Mr. Reynolds, it was nice having you guys. A wealth of knowledge. I've learned a lot. So I must say, gentlemen, I really appreciate it. Thank you. And most definitely, I will actually invite you guys here anytime, man. You're always welcome. Because
you mean invite us on the program or to come to Kuwait?
Yes.
No, it would be a good thing. Listen, it would be a good thing to get you here to coach.
I want the invitation to Kuwait the next 2 years.
Yes.
Even if you invite me next week, the next 2 years, you better line up that strict invitation.
Come.
Mr. Whittick, just I mean, you know where to find us. You know where to find us.
Definitely, gentlemen. Definitely. So really appreciate it, guys. Thanks a million for coming, and you're all welcome anytime here. So this is it, guys. This is the Unbiased Show, football talk, and we are out.